Spelldrifter is a turn-based RPG deck building game.
In the story, you follow 5 different characters, each with their own backstory and mission in the game, such as vengeance, a mission from God, or uncovering an ancient mystery. These stories all take the characters to Starfell, a city where their stories will intertwine.
After you finish pretty long tutorial slowly introducing all of these characters, you enter the world with choice of 3 characters to take to any of the battles.
In those battles, the process is pretty typical for turn-based battles. Your character is first going to move and then take an action, but those actions will vary really extremely depending on what type of character you have and what type of cards you have equipped them with. Now, the classes are fighter, cleric, mage, or rogue, and depending on which ones you take into each particular battle, it's going to change the way that you fight.
And you build a deck of 20 cards, and in tradition of Hearthstone, you use them to heal, to fight, defend, or equip a different weapon.
Sometimes a combination of
all of those.
A number of those, maybe not all of them all at once, but as your characters level up, they will get more and more powerful cards that gives you a greater variety to select the 20 cards that you will equip them with to go into battle. And these battles, one by one, will take you through the story, through lots of different environments, adventures, through different types of characters and enemies, and testing your turn-based tactical skill.
There's a lot of text in the game, both on the map, even in during the battles.
During the battles, yeah.
And this game will take you about 10 hours to complete. And there is hard metal music that you cannot miss because it's really hard.
Even when the combat is kind of taking a pause, it's still going to be intense heavy metal music. Yeah.
But you can turn it off, of course.
That probably brings us to the question, should you play it? But first you should know that this game is going to be completely free, and usually it's $20 on the Epic Game Store for 1 week. Starting September 7th, 2023, you'll have that week to add it to your library and then install it whenever you want. And that is exactly what we do on this channel. We play and review every free weekly game from the Epic Game Store. So subscribe and you'll never have to be bored ever again.
This game is actually presented more like a puzzler. I would a little bit disagree with it. It is basically a turn-based RPG. That's the core what it is. With cards, with music that I turn off immediately because turn-based is not fast action-paced, so it doesn't go well together with the fast heavy metal music. I did enjoy the game. I think it's decent. The story is fun if you read it out loud with funny voices. Otherwise, there's no voices, so you would have to read everything, which I'm not a fan of.
Right.
And even though I think this game is decent, I don't think it's anything special. It does combine turn-based and card games pretty well, but I don't feel that this game is so good that I can recommend it to everyone. So I think it's okay. But no, I don't think you need to play it.
And that's coming from you who are a fan of a lot of turn-based games. I'm not generally a fan of the genre, although recently we've played some turn-based games that I really enjoyed, and I think having more freedom in the combat is really important. This one that you move and then you take an action, then you wait for the other character to attack, and it felt there was not as much control or freedom over the combat. I do really like the idea of introducing a deck building system into this turn-based combat, but I didn't find the cards to be diverse enough or stacking on the effects of other characters enough for it to really seem to really pull me in, let's say. What could have saved it is the story, but the story is pretty flat and just a standard fantasy story. I don't think there's a lot of new material there for a fantasy story. So overall, I have to agree, this is not a bad game. If you are a big fan of turn-based games, fantasy games, it's worth giving it a try because it's free. If that's not the case, then I think you could save your time for another game.
I would only add that they try to make the battles more interesting by entering to see enemies and then a boss might come later, or some more enemies that is kind of unexpected, together with some dialogues in the middle of battles. That's good, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. If you are looking for a turn-based tactical fantasy game, a few months ago we got Gloomhaven for free from the Epic Games Store, and this one on almost all levels was more impressive. Yeah. So that might be in your backlog if you've been following us for a while. It's something to check out. Review right up here.
And hope to see you next time.
Bye.